Greetings, loves. Thank you all for joining me this evening. And thank you all for clicking the like button. I am still sharing this video out, so excuse me while I am doing so. And tonight I will be chit-chatting with Brother Rob. And if you guys are familiar with my platform, then you have seen Brother Rob either in the chat box or on the panel with me a time or two. Okay. And Brother Rob has just recently done a video on his channel. I think it was last night that I saw this video. I'm not sure exactly when he did it. I think it was yesterday. And it's called Crooked Trees. And I loved it. Okay? That's an understatement. So I'm pulling this up, and I want you all to listen to this. And then we're going to talk with Brother Rob about this video. So let me get out of beta, because me and beta still don't get along. So I'm going to go back to YouTube Classic and pull this video up while I am still sharing the video. So you know how YouTube does. They make everything so much harder. So you got to share your own videos now. You got to just keep throwing one monkey wrench in after another. So I'm going to pull up this video. I'm going to share my screen. And I want y'all to check out this video. Okay? And it was so deep. So deep. All right, give me 1 second here. All right, here we go. So I'm gonna be in a chat with y'all in just a minute. As soon as I get things going. And it's about maybe 36 minutes long, so it's not short at all. But I guarantee you it's worth it. Yeah, it's worth it. And we're gonna have him on with us after listening to this video. Okay, so let me enlarge the screen. And there's some pretty nice visuals in here as well. And I love trees, so I enjoyed the show along with the knowledge being dropped. Okay, you just don't get it like this too much on social media. So let me unmute this.
That I think are important.
Okay, hold on. Let me rewind it. We're gonna start. Oh, we're not gonna miss a minute of this.
I'm no longer. I told y'all before, man. In my last video, man, I quit. I'm focused on the things that I think are important. You know what I'm saying, and that's building our people up. My good brother DS1, he said all the time, we gotta heal before we build. And so I'm hoping that the message of this video, you know, be some wisdom to you so that you can grow. You know what I'm saying? So you can teach your sons, your daughters, maybe a lesson or two that we didn't get when we was young. Just so that that could propel them to be a little bit better than us. And so that's pretty much the space that I'm coming from with what I gotta say tonight. And so my dad is the best man I know, you know what I'm saying? One more time, shout out to that man for being my father. I feel extremely lucky to have him as a father, and he definitely made sure that any lesson that he could teach me, he tried to make everything a teachable moment, you know what I'm saying? And so as a young man, we used to go to Mississippi every year. Used to go to Mississippi for the summer every year. I don't know about y'all, but that's what our family used to do. He wanted me to understand what my roots were. He wanted me to understand what our culture was. You know what I'm saying? And so that being said, you know what I'm saying, I was the kid that used to ask all of the questions. So why? So why? So why? You know what I'm saying? Right? And like I told y'all, he the best man I know. And this man is so wise, that he changed my question into a teachable moment about life. And so my question to him was, hey Dad, why these trees right here over the top of the expressway, why all of them growing crooked? And he paused, paused for about a good 2 minutes. It was silence, and I just kept sitting there. I didn't want to say nothing else, so I just kept sitting there. And then, everybody else sleep in the car. And so for about 30 minutes, he just sat there and lectured me about trees and how I should look at them now, And he told me all the time, and he called it country boy logic. My dad from Chula, Mississippi, if y'all familiar, you know what I'm saying? It's the Greenwood area, right? So for about 30 minutes, he lectured me on trees, right? And I remember this lesson specifically. What he said was, it's best to straighten out a crooked tree when they're young, when they first get bark and get a little hard, able to accept some straightening. It is always best, always, to straighten out a crooked tree when they're young. And he used to he used to ask me questions as he was explaining to make sure that I understood. He said, "Well, why you think you would want to straighten out a tree, June? Why you think you need to straighten them out when they're young?" I was like, "So he can grow straight." Of course, I'm young. I don't understand the wisdom that's about to get handed to me, right? And so he said, "Well, see, if you let a tree grow crooked for 10, 12 years, 15 years, and then all of a sudden you try to straighten it out, you're going to kill the tree. You're going to crack it. It's going to crack." And then I pictured that in my mind. I'm like, oh, I see now. He ain't talking about trees, but he is talking about trees. See? And so here it is, right? He said the process to straighten out a tree, you got to start young. You got to start young. And what you want to do is you want to support it. You want to support it in such a way to where no matter what, you come back and you reevaluate it. You look and see if you're growing straight. Is the string where the crook at? And you trying to make sure that he gonna grow straight. But you got to do it when he's young. You see? And sometimes if you don't do it when he's young, right, and he get that 10, 12 years old, you got to use some force to get the tree straight. You say, don't judge the tree, don't judge the tree. The tree didn't want to grow crooked. It's the person who planted the tree that wasn't paying attention. But you got to use some force to get the tree to grow straight. And let me pause right here and say this right here out loud. This message is not for everybody. You see, I'm not a Christian or anything like that, and I mean no disrespect if I'm misinterpreting this this scripture, but I believe that it called wisdom the dark saying. So this message is not for everybody. I understand, right? So moving along, if you want to straighten up a tree, here goes some things that you got to have. You got to have some patience. You still got to water it. Still got to make sure that the sun's shining in a good spot on it and get good sun. You want to make sure that you clip the limbs that ain't grown. You know, why waste the nutrients going into a limb that's not going to produce any leaves, any fruit? Wouldn't be wise. So that's what you do. When a tree young, that's when you prune it. That's when you do it. When they're young. You see? Because either way it go, this tree got life. Oh yes. The tree got life. And you just gotta find a way to make sure that you can preserve that life to the best of its ability. And have the tree be natural and grow straight. Be of some use, maybe shade to the house, so you can save on your lights in the summer. But here's the other thing that I want people to consider. And this is what he told me. He said, Joan, because that's my nickname, Joan. He said, Joan, sometimes the trees grow crooked on purpose. I said, yeah, they grow crooked on purpose then? He said, yeah. I said, well, why? The tree reaching to get some more sun. And so, you know, that's what he gonna do. He gonna go to the area where the sun is. And so sometimes in your mind's eye, you might say, why is the tree growing crooked? But the tree ain't worried about your opinion. He's going to get the resources. He's going to go get the sun. And he'll explain it to you if you ask him. But most people just, stand back and look at the tree and say it's crooked. The tree know exactly what it's doing. It's trying to live. It's trying to make sure that it survives. So when it drops its saplings and its seeds, the next tree can come along. And if it gotta be crooked, well, goddamn it, it gonna be crooked too. To make sure that it get to that sun. I love trees. Love them. Always been fascinated by them when I was young. Obviously, this tree is crooked. Some people, because they have I know y'all. Some people even probably looked at the title and thought I was gonna be talking about weed. Crooked trees. You know what I'm saying? But I'm talking about actually trees, right? But anyway, look, right? You see this tree? Fascinating. Struck by lightning, as y'all can see. And the heat literally made the tree lean over. But the roots of the tree was so strong that it was still able to survive after the lightning strike. Fascinating. Some people see something else. They don't even see a tree, But I ain't gonna get into that freaky stuff with y'all. Right? Like I said, some people look at trees and say, man, why is the tree growing so crooked? This tree knew its design before it got to the height that it was. And so in our mind, we looking at it and we saying it's crooked. That's on purpose. It was a design. And sometimes we just need to understand that every tree ain't gonna fit into your, quintessential idea of how a tree should look. But I gotta say this out loud. Y'all take a look at this tree. It's nothing exceptional about this tree. It's just crooked. Still surviving, still, it got limbs. It's alive. Some trees just grow crooked naturally. It is their nature. Some trees just ain't gonna grow straight. That's just what it is. And those type of trees, they usually are alone in nature. Most crooked trees don't grow well with other trees. And so some of them crooked trees, we just gotta leave them crooked in the forest and leave them be. That's just what it is. All right. But my favorite tree, and this is the tree that I used to look forward to seeing when I went to Mississippi. The weeping willow. The reason they call it a weeping willow is because if you under the tree or around the tree, if the wind pick up, right, you're gonna feel these little drops of water. So the tree is like it's almost like it's sweating in the summertime. Oh man, I love to be under weeping willows. You know, love to be under those. But this is the tree that kind of lit my, fascination with trees. Man, I love trees. You can learn a lot observing nature. You can learn a lot observing nature. This is one of my favorite trees. This is an oak tree. Very strong root system. Matter of fact, oaks, anywhere on planet Earth, this tree seems to thrive. High altitude, below sea level, hot climates, somewhat hot climates. You know, I love oak trees. I love to look at their strength. You know, oh yeah, this is a whole row of oak trees. You see how their limbs are reaching? Almost it seems like they creating an archway for this drive. Very scenic, I could imagine. I've never drove through there personally. But you see how it's so many oak trees and they all seem to be strong. They coexisting, y'all. They live, they touching each other, but in a healthy way. Perfect shade. It looks like that's probably like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Perfect shade. And I can imagine the majestic view that you would see in your car. Probably overlook the coexistence of these trees. You can learn a lot from nature. You know, my dad, he also expounded on the tree line. You know, he expounded on the tree line, right? There's a bunch of oaks. Let me go to my tree line picture. As y'all can see, I kind of prepared for it. I had some ideas of how I wanted to talk about it, but I definitely wanted some visuals for this. You know, tree lines. As you can see, most of these trees are all the same, right? But the ones that are a little taller, they probably just a little older. You can look at the stump of the tree and you can see that because they're a little wider. My point in bringing it up, all these trees together, they're not trying to outgrow one another. They height gonna be they height. That's what it's gonna be. You see? Everybody about the same height. But if you notice, these trees' limbs, they not growing out. So they almost you if you could imagine, they standing there with their arms to their side. Some of the trees are. It's different types of trees together. But they all seem to be thriving. I don't see any dead trees in there. They all seem to be. It's a message in there, right? The root system of a tree. You see a tree, you see above ground, but it's a lot going on underneath. That's why the tree can thrive, look full, and provide shade, and provide wood and shelter, especially if it's raining. Oh man, you found a tree like this, you in the middle of the field somewhere, it start raining. You ever, man, y'all ain't never been to Mississippi, look, right? You can see the storm coming. You can see it coming. And when it poured down, you can see the end. You can see the end of the storm. So what you would be doing is trying to, aim towards one of these big old trees. This is the root system of the tree. It's a lot to this tree. All we thinking about probably is how good a Granny Smith apple is. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I love Granny Smith apples, man. That's why I brought it up. Ooh, I love the sweetness and also the bitterness of the apple, the balance of a Granny Smith apple. Yes, sir. But it's a lot to trees that's underneath. You see how wide their root system is? Let me tell you something, right? This is on record. They found a root system of a South African oak tree. It went 400 feet deep. Some trees go super deep. You know, some trees would go deep, right? They would go deep, but sometimes the soil ain't right. You know, sometimes underneath the tree roots would go deep, but the soil sandy, full of clay. See, if you ever done dug deep and you hit some clay, some of y'all don't know how to work with y'all here. Ain't never moved no earth or smelt no earth. You ain't never, hell, some of y'all don't even know how to cut grass. Talking about what a man should be. But anyway, getting back to the point. Some of the roots, they would go deep, but where they planted it, the soil bad. So the tree don't shrivel up and die because the soil bad. He just put his roots on the ground. Wherever he at, he just put them on the ground. Hey, look, this tree ain't protesting. It ain't trying to send nobody to jail. This tree ain't doing that. This is what this tree did. Okay. The soil is on some bullshit. This soil ain't no good. I'm gonna just put my roots right here on top of the ground. Whatever I gotta do to survive, that's what I'm gonna do. You see? But then people come along, they want to judge the tree, not understanding everything that the tree had to go through. Look at this crooked ass tree. You don't know that a kid tried to kill the tree when it was young, bending the tree all sideways and going on. A young boy came back, carved him and his girlfriend name in the tree. You don't know what happened to the tree. Why it's so crooked. But don't forget now. Don't forget what I said. Now, once the tree get a little grown, you're gonna need some force to straighten out that tree. And if you use too much force, you don't have enough patience with the tree. Right? You're gonna kill it. Is it worth it? Is it worth killing the tree? Well, I just plant another tree. What about this life you got in front of you? Keep in mind now, you might chop the tree down. But that root system I talked about, right? You'll be dead and gone, that tree will come back. You heard? you would be dead and gone. You think you done killed the tree. You would be dead and gone, and that tree would come back. Let me get back to the root system of a tree. Y'all remember that picture I showed you where the root system was wide, right? These trees, their root system, they're sharing their nutrients. They're sharing their water. I bet you the air, I bet you that air is pure. If you were just to take a long walk down that road right there, I bet you that air is pure. Because trees give us life, if y'all don't know that. Yes. We keep cutting down enough trees. Guess what? We're going to be choking. Huh? It's an oak tree right there. I love oak trees. Now, they call this, this is in St. James, Louisiana. And they planted these oak trees. You know, obviously, I'm hoping that y'all can tell that's a plantation. I went on the plantation tour at the St. James Parish. These are some beautiful oak trees, y'all. They were not trimmed or anything like that. They grew that way naturally. Naturally. You can see the root systems of these trees bubbling out the ground. I bet you these trees, if they could talk, they would have some stories to tell y'all. It's believed that these trees were planted around 1618. The root system, y'all. You know, that's another thing about the root system of trees, right? Another thing I wanted to say about them. They're not asking permission. They're not asking permission to be strong. I need 4 or 5. I'm a just man. I mean, it's going to be 4 or 5 roots. That's just what it is. It's not apologizing for being strong. Wouldn't you want to come from, if you was a tree with a strong root system? Roots are deep and powerful. So where no matter what, wind blowing, raining, cold, whatever, those roots will be able to reach out and get the appropriate nutrient to keep the tree alive. Talked about, this is a eucalyptus tree right here. This a real picture now. This is a real picture. Look at that. It's a eucalyptus tree, y'all. I love trees. This is a fig tree. Everybody don't get the same roots, y'all. Everybody don't get the same roots. My point in bringing it out is this. Be proud of the roots you got. Because you a tree now. Whatever type of tree you are, you a spruce, you a pine, you a oak, you a fig, you a eucalyptus tree, whatever type of, you a redwood, whatever type of tree you are, that was the type of tree you was going to be before you broke through the soil. So be proud of whatever type of tree you is. White trees. You don't see these much in nature. It's naturally white. You just don't see a whole. I just can't think of how many. I'm very familiar with trees. I just can't think of how many white ones. I I want to say it's 12 different species. I'm not sure, but you don't see a whole lot of white trees in nature. Hmm. The leaves not very broad. It look like the tree strong. Looks strong. Got good strong limbs. The limbs then grew tall. They long. Oh yes. Oh yes. Them some long. You can tell that this tree is tall. And based on the trunk, a significant root system. A significant root system. Right? But I seriously doubt if that root system is as strong as that oak tree. Let me show you. You know, just comparing and contrasting trees. Now you see that trunk, it's a grown man standing next to the trunk right there. You know, and for prosperity, this is just a disclaimer. Right, these are not my photographs. I pulled them off of Google. You know, these are not my photographs. You know, fair use, fair use. I'm just giving my commentary on these photographs. Right? But white trees, back to white trees. Hey, y'all know any white trees? Can you tell me? Man, I know they exist. I just can't think of exactly how many species are white. I want to say it's 12. But trees, man, beautiful. You know, what stood out to me about this picture? Trees and their appropriateness for the season, y'all. Their appropriateness for the season. See, if you got all them leaves and things, you're going to need more nutrients. You're going to need more sunlight. That's what you're going to need, right? You're going to need that. Trees and their appropriateness for the season. So in the winter, because it's less sunlight, trees drop their leaves. But right before the winter, right before they drop their leaves, they put on a show. They put on the show. The beauty of nature. The natural beauty of nature. The spruce is not hollering at the redwoods talking about fix me up. They just gonna be what they are. Natural beauty. As y'all can see, man, I love trees. These are flowering trees right here. Beautiful. That's beautiful. You know, purple is supposed to be the color of royalty. Mm-hmm. Some trees are just unique. Some trees are just unique, and we are going to have to accept the fact that although they are unique, it's nothing that we can do to change that. It's nothing we can do to change it. They're just unique. It's called a basket tree. Imagine what their root system look like. We see what it is up top. Imagine what's going on underneath. the natural beauty of trees. Look at that. Now, and the one that's furthest to the right, that tree never gets really tall. It's a flowering tree. And it put on its show in the spring and early summer. And then it drop all its flowers, and then it's just green, and then, you know, obviously when the autumn comes, it turns orange and yellow, and, you know, that's it. Then it drop its leaves and come back in the spring. You know. So let me stop sharing my screen. Look, right? I appreciate anybody that was listening. I felt like I just wanted to share this. I hope that this message reached the person that it was supposed to. Right? I hope that the family understand what I was trying to say. Although the message was about trees, it wasn't just about trees. Like I said, they call wisdom the dark saying. So I appreciate anybody that tuned in tonight. You know, this is what my some wisdom that my father shared with me when I was young, and so I just wanted to come out and share it with the fam. So one more time, I appreciate anybody that was listening tonight, and I'm about to sign off now. So man, I'm gonna holler at y'all a little later on another little check in. You know, just to let y'all know what's going on with me and why I'm still buzzing. You know.
All right, guys. Ooh, that was masterful. Okay, and if you guys give me a few minutes, all right, we're gonna have Brother Rob come join us on the panel. Send this link out.
Perfect. Perfect.
Greetings, greetings, Brother Rob. Welcome.
Man, I feel welcome, man. I love the track, man. That's hot. You know what I'm saying?
Don't thank me, thank you too, but I can't be giving all my secrets away.
Right, no doubt, no doubt. But
That's a YouTube freebie.
yeah. But let me just say on record, man, I appreciate that you appreciated the video, and
Mhm.
that was real piece of you to to put to run it on your channel and everything. So I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate you sharing that with the world. You know, lessons that you've learned from your father and your experience, your childhood, um, wisdom, the wisdom that you obtained from the story that he told you. And, you didn't have to come out and share it. Most people don't come out here talking like that all the time. They just come out here and, I guess, say a lot of things people want to hear or whatever's entertaining. But,
Hmm.
it's
Well,
kind of rare, you know,
yeah.
to hear some old school wisdom along with some storytelling and then you brought nature into it and you brought in there's just so much in that video, so much, and you brought in um, your father, you know the value that you got from your experiences with him and the things that he talked to you about, and like how you would interpret stuff that he says to you, and how that all of that meant to you in the summers. I mean, just there was just so much there that it seems like now in 2019 has kind of been a little lost by the wayside with a lot of us. So I indeed appreciate you sharing that and coming on here to talk to us about what motivated you to share this. And if you want to elaborate on it at any.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt.
But hold
So
on, before you do, please reintroduce yourself to anybody who's listening and aren't familiar with you.
oh yeah, for sure. So for people who don't know me, my name, I go on YouTube is Bro Rob. Um um what brought me to YouTube was when Donald Trump got to office, and the political climate here in Chicago was very, very high. And tension was very, very high, and I felt like politically, black folks here wasn't moving in the right direction, and so I, call myself, being a superhero. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get on YouTube and put messages out, and then, as I was moving around on YouTube, I kind of understood that it didn't exactly work like that. You know what I'm saying? In terms of you getting your message out and all of that. So, I just kind of felt trying to feel my way around to see, what my angle gonna be, what I'm saying, when it comes to putting up content. People got all types of content, and I'm not trying to knock anybody for whatever they like to do on YouTube. I mean, that's what floats your boat, you know what I'm saying? But for me, the video right before I did Crooked Trees, it's called I Quit. You know, I was calling myself doing research and trying to understand other people' points of view. And what I came to realize was, um, I'm probably never going to agree. I might can concede some points that they make, but I'm never going to agree with them. You know, and so Crooked Trees was kind of my metaphor, if you will, on how we should be looking at things, what I'm saying? Looking at things from a broader point of view. And I just felt like the story that my dad shared with me all them years ago was really appropriate for what's going on in YouTube, what's going on in Black America, where we are politically, as a country, all of those things. And just coming straight to the point and telling people, no, I don't agree with this because of this and that and the third. It wasn't working. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna try to use old wisdom as a way to get people attention, and use, metaphors and things of that nature to, at least try to get people to calm down to listen for a second. You know what I'm saying? So, this is my first little offering. I did something similar called, be like a mountain climber. But, I ain't getting many views. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I need to redo it. You know what I'm saying?
You might. I mean, you just never know when when it's time that the message will be received by the right people. And you never know when someone is looking and someone is listening. And I saw some of that video you did. I quit, but I was like, oh no, I don't want to listen to this that you
Yeah.
about to get off YouTube. So I didn't finish watching it. And
Uh,
then I saw this one, and of course, it caught me right away when I saw the trees.
mm,
And I knew it was going to be good anyway coming from you. And I was definitely interested after seeing a portion of your video saying that you quit. So I was like, I want to hear what he's saying now.
yeah.
So I was happy that I was able to catch it and listen. I
Mm,
think a lot of people know that I don't follow, like, listen to platforms all the time,
mm,
but I hop around and I occasionally listen to, my favorites here and there. So I might veer off a little bit and then come back later on. So I might not catch everything. But so that's why people see me and then they don't or whatever. Sometimes I'm there and I just don't say anything, but I be listening. And
yeah.
so I was happy to have caught that because, you know, um, indeed, it was a lot of knowledge dropped in that. And like you said, the message or the style or a combination of both may not be for everybody,
Mm,
or they might not be in a place where they can receive it now.
mm.
But that's why I said, please don't take this down. And then I said, let me share it just in case he does take it down,
Uh,
because someone is going to have the patience to listen to it and they're going to receive so many gems because I received a lot of messages and listening to that. And just like you said, some of it kind of refers to interactions with people on YouTube, the way you're looking at things when it comes to, you know, what's going on in the political world and just all over the place. It can
mhm,
refer to a lot of different situations. So, I always look for things that I can take myself
mhm,
and then people say whether or not I necessarily agree off top or I kind of get it off top. But if I'm listening, I feel like I'm here for a reason. So, like, I'm listening for a reason. So
mhm.
there's got to be something in there for me. So I knew there was going to be something in there for me. And I'm telling you, I
Yeah,
took some things out of there that I
yeah.
was like, okay, I can apply this to myself because we all need you know,
Mhm.
um, a little something, something in our ear every once in a while.
No doubt. My dad, if you ever meet him, what I'm saying, all you have to do is meet him one time and you will understand me a lot better, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna lie,
Hmm.
at the time when he was telling me about the trees, right? Man, I was gang banging, getting into trouble, you know what I'm saying? I mean, man, I was wayward, you know what I'm saying? And that's probably why he paused that long. Cause he like this fool, you know what I'm saying? Listen to this fool talk about why the tree's crooked. And so he took that time, you know what I'm saying? And man, I, that's all you have to do is meet Mr. Senior, Robert Senior, meet him one time, you will know exactly what I mean. But
Hmm.
the crooked tree, right? You know what I'm saying? Me and him, we was into it, you know what I'm saying? So him telling me that when a tree done went crooked for 12 years and you got to use some force to get it straight, you know what I'm saying? That's when I'm like, damn. Oh, I see, Joe. That's why that's why you own me
Hmm.
like that. I get it, G. Ah, you know what I'm saying? Then
Okay.
um going forward, the tree line, right? You know what I'm saying? He could see that I was ambitious, right? But don't be ambitious to a fault, you know what I'm saying? Because there was a lot of money,
Hmm.
flowing around my crib, like, at the time. Like it was like dumb if you wasn't selling drugs. Like, dude, you can make $1,000 a week. Your ass ain't selling no drugs. Fuck is wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, that's what it was, sweet. That's what it was, you know. And somehow, some way, my goofy self made it through all of that. You know what I'm saying? I just I just had somebody that shared some wisdom with me, you know, as I made my little journey, and I was always trying to find out how I could reach some of my homies to get them, I'm making a long story short, um, but I was trying to reach back for some of the guys when I got off count, right? And I was trying to figure out how to get at them, and I kept hollering at my dad, like, man, Joe, well, hey, could you talk to XYZ, man? Man, I think he could get out too, you know what I'm saying? And my dad told me, he said, man, it's just like them crooked trees. Some trees just, man, it don't matter what you do, man. It's too late now, you know? And
Right.
then and this the point that I left out of the video, right? And it was on purpose, right? Our perspective. We on the ground and we looking at the tree and we saying to ourselves, it's crooked. But the tree, he 120 feet tall. He not thinking about things that's 6 feet tall. He thinking about things that's 120 feet tall. You see? And so our perspective is limited, you know? And that's why I knew it wasn't gonna hit everybody the right way, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I left that point out on purpose. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I ain't wanna shun people away like, oh, he calling me a dummy, you know what I'm saying? you know. But man, I really do like trees, but I just felt like the wisdom in the story, if we would just work together, man, it ain't no telling, you know. And then we can't get mad at other people because they a little bit further along than us, you know. Man, your
Right.
truck don't get there, fam. All you gotta do is keep living. Your truck gonna get there, you know. Soak up
And I
some of this
correlated.
sunshine.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm done.
Well, I was just saying that I correlated that part when I was listening to your video with some of what Grinch was saying in his video last night. Because he had a profound message. Well, he always has a profound message in his videos, but um, some of the things, because he had a lot of points in his video last night, but he was kind of talking about some of that too. So when you say, if we all could work together instead of, when you got to the point about the trees that were growing together, but some of them were taller and some of them were shorter. They weren't necessarily in competition with each other. They weren't yelling at the other one saying, hey, fix me, or, trying to figure out, hey, why is this guy taller than me, or nothing like that. They were all thriving and doing well in the same environment, you know.
Right.
So
Like
it's
it would
it was
be it
like
would be
similar
it would be dumb.
message.
It would be dumb of a pine tree to be under a redwood talking about some fuck you all tall and shit. Fuck you. That would be dumb as hell. Because the redwood could just soak up all of the nutrients and kill him if he wanted to. You see what I'm saying? It's nature. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? They don't think about competition. They just think about living. You know, be
Hmm.
who you is, fam.
And they
That's
all
all.
have the same essential needs at the end of the day to be able to thrive off of, and they all have their own things to give back. They have their own jobs to do, and like you said, they have their own rooting systems. So it seems like they're just concentrating on doing their own thing, but they're also co-inhabiting together successfully while doing so. So it makes sense.
Yeah. Well, it ain't all me. Definitely the point about the tree being crooked, straighten it out when it's young, and then the tree lines. That was my pops, you know what I'm saying? But everything else, I just kind of expounded on the points that he was making, you know what I'm saying? I'm
Can
sure
you
he would
help
have
me
made it too. Yeah. Huh?
like the tree line? I think that's one part where I should have. 'Cause I'm not sure if I know what a tree line is.
Oh yeah.
Let me go on mute.
All you gotta do is just drive. That's all you gotta do, and you will see them. You know what I'm saying? You would drive. You drive up and down 55, 57, 80, any of those. You know what I'm saying? You're going to see some tree lines. You know, and the reason they put them there is to make sure that the topsoil, say for instance, it don't rain for a while, right? All the
Mm-hmm.
topsoil ain't gonna blow away. You know what I'm saying? Because the wind to get trapped in between the tree lines. You know, so that's the purpose of having them there strategically. You know, and
Oh,
yeah, but I mean that's some old country boy stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot to it. You know what I'm saying? Agriculture. You know, I heard a wise man say, you know, it ain't no culture without agriculture. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right. Especially when you were talking about the training, if you will, of the tree if it happens to be going crooked.
Yeah.
Um, I think that has so many messages in it. And as somebody who grows trees myself, I happen to know about that, but I also get what you were talking about. And now you even took it further when you said that you was actually kind of going the wrong way a little bit at the time. And so that explained the long pause. So
Mhm.
I guess he wanted to make sure that when he came with his, breakdown, that, he brought you something that you could really um, use to help make up your own mind
Right.
about a lot of things that you were dealing with yourself.
Hmm. And and then the other point, you know, a lot of times on YouTube, we always trying to correct people, and we want to correct them tonight on the panel. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's
Hmm.
just not real. It's not realistic for you to make a point, even if they concede it, and they just go ahead and break down and say, you know what, you right, and I was wrong, and I need to do more research. Like that is very rare. You're not gonna catch people saying that on the panel. You know what I'm saying? So that being said, it got to be gradual. You know, bringing
Hmm.
somebody back into alignment with what is most productive for our community. It's a gradual thing, bringing people back in the line. You know, you're not gonna snap them
Hmm.
back in the line today. It's not gonna it's not realistic. They've been growing that way for a long time. You know, they just met you.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah, because you
you
might
know,
damage them or damage the relationship that you're trying to build, or the successes you're trying to have there with them, break them if you put too much force, especially if they're so much older. You may not be able to straighten them out to where you think you're going to straighten them out, because like you said about the trees, some of them are just going to be crooked, and we just have to leave them be and let them be crooked, and not waste too much time focusing on the fact that they're crooked. And I think that part was some of what I felt like, okay, now here's the part where I need at this time for whatever reason.
you can't you just can't make once a crooked tree and grew for 30 years crooked, you're not going to straighten it out. It's not straightening out
Mm.
now. It's crooked. That's what it's a good tree to climb. There you go. You know what I'm saying? All crooked trees are
Yeah,
easy to climb.
this is true. This is true. And sometimes we need, I think our people need that reminder every once in a while, because we care, we have a desire, and when you know better, then you want to do better, and you want to see other people do better, especially if it's those around you or if it's your people. But sometimes we do have to be reminded that, hey, Sometimes, tree just needs to be crooked. And maybe it'll do well being crooked, or maybe it's just going to be crooked. And that's just all it is to it. So you have to just go and keep making sure that you're growing and your environment is good.
Mhm. And as long as your root system is strong, you're not gonna kill him. He's still gonna survive, and he gonna be
Mm.
his living, probably really small leaf self. You know what I'm saying? If you walk through the
Right.
forest, you would notice, right? Mostly all of the crooked trees, they grow by themselves. You know what I'm saying? Normally, crooked trees do not grow with other trees. They just don't.
This is true. This is true. Even when you were showing the pictures, that reminded me that when we do see the pictures of unique trees that have these awesome artwork like forms, they tend to be standing alone. And a lot of times they have come that way due to some kind of damage. I found one, oh gosh, I should have pulled it up just for this. In one of my groups on Facebook, Black Girls That Garden,
Uh-huh.
there was a palm tree in one of the sisters' yards. Let me see if I have it on my phone. If I do, I'm gonna pull it up. I'm gonna share it.
Okay.
Oh, I do have it. Okay. So I'm gonna pull it up in a second. It's amazing. And I think this was Florida. And you could see one of the palm trees standing really tall, really high, and the other part of the tree had gotten struck by lightning and it hit the ground. And instead of dying off, it did like a twirl type of thing,
Uh-huh.
and it just grew straight up into the sky.
Yeah. The
So
resilience of trees. That's another thing. More trees can grow through a gate. They'll grow through a sewer pipe if they got to. You know what I'm saying? Trees are
mhm.
resilient. They got to be some of the most resilient, organisms on planet Earth. You know, they just about as resilient as rats. Trees are resilient.
They are, and they have to be to withstand so many years of, you know, not only just weather but environmental
Right,
dysfunction, if you will,
right.
because the environment has been pretty rough on trees, and trees are necessary. I mean, they're here for a reason. They're actually here to provide for us. It's funny because where was I? I was at the park. Yeah, I was at the park, and I was at the trails today, and there were a bunch of pine trees there, and a lot of the pines were dropping, and I just looked up at them, and some of them had like green fresh pines on there, and I said, I'm gonna go Google them because I always dislike, and I love trees, but pines I never liked because they drop all those pine needles and those pine cones, and if you step on them, ouch.
Right.
Then, when you're little, they want to throw the pine cones at you and hit you with the pine cones and stuff because in North Carolina we have pine trees too. We got them here in Georgia. So if you country, you already know.
Yeah.
And my thing was like, I was trying to figure out like what, because everything has a purpose. Like, what are pine cones for? I don't know.
They
So,
have they got that is super dope. Oh,
see
that's
it?
so
Yeah. You
damn.
see how it just moved around and grew up right in front of the house,
Right,
still at a good distance to where they don't have to take it down.
right.
And it's gonna be strong. Like, I don't think any wind or anything is gonna knock that over. No hurricane is gonna make it fall on the house or anything. It just that's amazing.
That is super dope, man.
I
Damn.
could just see metal there, like maybe a hammock or a swing, or I don't know. Just put something like
Boy, that
it's
grass
really
look
awesome.
like carpet, boy. Damn. That's a nice
Mhm. Mhm.
that's a nice house, man.
Even around where the tree is on the ground, it's still the grass looks great.
Oh yeah. You can tell they cutting right around it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know that's a sunny state, so there's a lot of nutrients provided there.
Oh yeah. But they only really need, trees. They will just make a deeper root if the nutrient is not around them. That's the other part that I left out. If the
Hmm.
nutrients that they need, nitrogen, potassium, if it's not around them, the root will just continue to grow until it find a source.
Hmm. Hmm.
I mean, I could
Yeah,
keep going. The metaphors are like, it's they so built in. You know what I'm saying? But the root will
and
continue
that's
to
the thing
grow.
about like.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was saying that's the thing, like, because you have to, like, depending on if you're building a house or you just have this yard and you want to grow trees, you have to also know like what kind of leaves it's gonna drop, and are you gonna want to deal with that, raking that up, or um, is this the perfect tree for shade for this spot? But like you said about the roots, though, you have to be careful because they will travel, and so they can like they're so strong they will completely break your foundation of your home. Some trees will, if you put them too close to the home, they will continue to go and grow and grow and get up under the house and start breaking up that foundation. Or you can't put them, too close to each other because then they
Right.
don't have enough room
That's why
to spread
most
out their roots like they need to.
yeah, that's why most people get their water delivered to their house through their backyard, you know. If you got a tree in your
Mm.
backyard, make sure it ain't nowhere near their water pipe. You know what I'm saying? Water and
Oh,
soil,
that's
man.
septic.
Yeah, cause man, the tree coming. Naturally it's coming. But
Mm-hmm.
that's why most people get their water delivered from the rear of their home to ensure that the tree don't reach towards your foundation. You know what I'm saying? That's
Mm-hmm.
exactly why. Because we be talking about nation building, right? If you don't know that one little thing, you can destroy everybody home in 50 years. You know what I'm saying? So,
That's true. That's true. And like I have trees that are in containers, and this is my first time putting them in containers. And two of them are dwarfed, but of course, if I put them in the ground, they will grow into big full trees like they're supposed to. One of them I've just bought it dwarfed, and that one is a fig tree. And then I have another fig tree and a mulberry tree, and I dwarfed them, and so they're thriving really good in containers. And so they're not like if I put them in a bigger container, then they just get bigger. But because they don't have the room to take that rooting system where they need to go, they're going to not get it. They're going to stay like as short as I want them and not getting too tall because they don't have the room to root like they need to.
right.
But if they had the room to root, man,
Mhm.
it would be gigantic, big difference. So,
Yeah, and I just want to say out loud, even though we it's all kind of wisdom in the video, man, everybody you need to have at least two or three house plants. If you don't have two or three house plants, fam, man, you should go get them today. I mean tomorrow. For real, for real. Everybody needs some house plants. You know, everybody do. Gotta have some.
yeah, I talk about that too. Talk about that too. And I think some people don't maybe realize the importance of having a house plant, but I think there's so much you need to learn from having a house plant, and simply just the art of learning how to take care of the plant and what it gives back to you.
Mhm.
There's a big difference in your home. And I mean, there's like so many house plants that provide good air quality, that you definitely should have. But, I definitely agree with what you're saying about everybody should live plants,
Right,
guys, not
right.
plastic plants.
It's all kind of benefits. Some plants help with humidity in the
Hmm.
house. I can't talk. Blah 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 blah. Right. But some of them fight bugs. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
if you in a state where y'all got a lot of mosquitoes and stuff, it's literally houseplants that give off a aroma that you can't smell or see that fight off mosquitoes.
Mhm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's all kind of stuff, you know. So
Mhm.
and not to mention, you know, the relationship that we have with plants. You know, people tend to forget that. You know, carbon
Mhm.
dioxide for oxygen and oxygen for carbon dioxide. Like if that balance ever gets to the point where, you know, we dominate and we lose, you know, people got to understand
Mhm.
that we have to maintain that balance. You know, it is
Mhm.
a matter of life and death. It is.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Like even aloe, just having aloe, they're great air purifiers. They work very hard, and so they also provide um, great benefits for your skin, your hair. They can help you poop if you need to poop. They can help you with a burn. So they give back in so many ways. And then, like you said, for the mosquitoes, like even just having stuff like mints and lemon balms, those are some of the ones. And citronella definitely is one of them that have that lemony scent, if you will, that the bugs don't like.
Yeah,
So,
marigolds too. If you plant
mm,
marigolds, like in the area where you and your family will be at, you know, mosquitoes definitely don't like marigolds.
hmm you know what? I have some. I need to plant. I was gonna grow some this year, and I forgot all about it.
Mm. For people who
And
don't
so I
know,
need.
marigolds are them little orange plants, and they orange and they like got red rings in the middle, or vice versa. You know, but they good for
Yeah,
fighting against mosquitoes, especially with
I
all the
didn't know that about marigolds though, but I know I had some. I have seeds. I have some sunflowers that I'm growing.
uh,
So I've been focusing on those as my flowers for this year. So yeah, I
um,
grow a lot of stuff.
But I wanted to say too, I wanted to bring out one other point from the video. Peace, Mama Rika, how you doing tonight? We talking about a video I had made. Talk. It's called Crooked Trees. But the point that I wanted to bring out was trees and their appropriateness for the season. You know what I'm saying? When it's time, they do it when it's time. You know, they flower when it's time, right?
Hmm
They get provide shade when it's time. They drop their leaves when it's time. You know what I'm saying? They do all of those things when it's time. Sometimes it's just not the right time, you know? It's just not, you know? And we just have to be
Mm,
appropriate for the season, for the time, you know?
that's a good point. That's a good point. When it's just because you feel like it's your time, or you feel like it should be our time, that doesn't mean that everybody is ready, but they're ready for whatever it is that they're supposed to be doing, like whatever stage that they're in. So you got to allow them to be in their stage.
But
So
man,
yeah.
I hope people go and view the video. I mean, I had put it out. I thought I felt good doing it. You know what I'm saying? But I
The other video that you mentioned, is that the one you're talking about? What was the name of it?
be like a mountain climber.
Okay. And
Yeah.
you said you did that one right before Crooked Trees?
Oh no, I quit. I did that right before Crooked Tree.
Okay, yeah, yeah. That was a long one
Yeah,
too. Did you have people on the panel with you?
yeah. I think it was Crew on there, a couple of other people.
Okay.
I don't know. I was
Okay.
mad. I was just mad that day, and that's why I don't really remember in detail. You know what I'm saying? But I'm really
Okay.
trying to go in a whole nother direction, though. You know what I'm saying? On the real, I got stuff popping. I'm about to make a basketball tournament happen in the neighborhood I grew up in. I'm about to bring little league baseball back to the city that I stay in, a little suburb I stay in. I'm on all type of. I'm about to make some power moves. I'm through playing around. That's it. Like man, we could talk.
Right.
We could talk when we want. When I got time, you know what I'm saying. But like, you know, even giving these narratives that don't give us any traction, even giving it my energy, I just can't do it no more. You know what I'm saying? So I quit.
Right.
You know.
Right. I totally understand. I totally understand. I can dig it. I can dig it. I mean, once you get to a certain stage and you begin to see what's going to become of it at the end of the day, then you know exactly what you need to go ahead on and do. And I think that's probably some of the motivation behind the Crooked Chew video, if I'm not correct.
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm.
Man. Hey, on the real, man,
Yeah.
it like when I be hollering at you, it feel like you like from Chicago or something. On the real, man. On the
A
real.
lot of people tell
Yeah.
me, "Oh
You ain't from the
man,
south side somewhere?
I get all kind of stuff. I get all kind of stuff. I get Jamaica. I get up north here. I get this, that, and the third. But now, my ex-husband that I was with for 10 or so years, he's from Chicago. My
Ah,
father was raised in Chicago,
all right.
so I'm not a stranger to it at all.
So
But
you probably just familiar with the Chicago way, because we got a way of
um,
doing things here.
yeah,
Man.
I should be, I guess. you know,
Yeah.
I should be. Yeah.
Oh man, it either is or it ain't. I mean, that's the Chicago way. We either about to fight or we not. You know, we either about
Right.
to get money or we ain't. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the Chicago way. We don't be fucking around. You know.
Mm-hmm. That's it. That's it. So and you can only respect that, you can only respect that. And for the people who, because I since you've been on last, I've gotten a lot of people come my way who wasn't around then, so they may not be familiar with what you do on a day-to-day basis. So you want to let them know?
Well, yeah, and man, I'm gonna do a live later on this week. I just got something going on tomorrow evening, but
Okay.
man, last week was the graduation for my school. I'm a dean of students at Innovations High School, downtown Chicago. We deal with at-risk youth. These are kids that formerly dropped out, and we had the graduation on Wednesday, which was Juneteenth. You know, ironically enough, I mean, to me it felt like prominence. But then the keynote speaker, the commencement speaker was Eric Thomas, ET. You know, the motivational speaker. You know who I'm talking about?
No, I'm not familiar.
And you probably heard one of his speeches and didn't even know that's who he was. But I mean, he's like the top number one motivational speaker. He get paid like 50 bands of performance. You know what I'm saying? Like this guy,
Oh,
yeah, this guy's serious. You know what I'm saying? But
okay.
yeah, but he came and did it on the love. You know what I'm saying? Of course, we threw him what we had, but of course, we ain't got 50 bands. But
Right.
the commencement speech that he had, it was powerful, man. And and I mean, it was just such a great event, seeing those kids walk across the stage and all of those people that gave up on them, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Now look, you know what I'm saying? All them people that said they wasn't going to amount to nothing, give up on them niggas. They ain't shit. They ain't this. They ain't that. Look at them. They done walked across the stage. They got a solid plan on life, what they about to do next. I got kids going to the armed services. I got kids going to direct employment. I got kids going
Okay.
to trade school. I got kids going to college. We got a young lady that got a full ride scholarship to Arkansas Plant Bluff next year. You know what I'm saying? So like, man, we doing powerful things. It felt great. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
then
that's one.
yeah, but then look though, that ain't the end, right? At the end
Mhm.
of the graduation, one of the parents give me tickets to go to the Crosstown Classic, which the Cubs playing the White Sox. Of course, the Cubs win. I'm a Cubs fan, you know what I'm saying? I go up north, catch the game, you know what I'm saying? Had one too many beers, but I get home, right? And I wasn't driving though. right? The next day, my company, we have a retreat out in Lake Geneva. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And so now I'm at the resort for the next 2 days. Man, so I'm always on fire. I'm bubbling, you know what I'm saying, on the real. So it's been a great couple of days for your boy, man. And I ain't trying to
Oh,
let
that's
nobody kill my vibe, you did?
right. I know that's right. When you get high, stay high as long as you can. That's what
That's
I say.
that's man.
That's wonderful. That is wonderful. Where you guys record um, his speech?
Oh, absolutely. As soon as I get a finished copy, because as an organization, we always try to put our best foot forward. So
Right.
of course they're going to edit out whatever parts they deem, not necessary for, like, outside people, where people can say anything negative, you know what I'm saying? They go once we got the edited version and everything, I'ma definitely upload it on my channel, you know what I'm saying, with my boss permission and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I just wanna say too, your boy was extra clean at the graduation though, you know what I'm saying?
I hope you took some pictures.
Yeah, I'm just playing. Yeah, I took some pictures though.
You gotta put those up too now. Even share them on your community tab because hey, sometimes they need to see how men get down. They need to see a brother sharp every once in a while. You know
Yeah. And I
that
mean,
business needs to be
yeah, I don't be trying to
shared
brag,
sometimes.
but when it's time to dress up, I know how to put a couple of, threads together, let's say, you know.
Hey,
Yeah.
that's beautiful. That is beautiful, man. So, have you been on any panels lately, or are you shied away from that a little bit?
Yeah, I've been shying away. I just been listening, and it just, over the last 2 weeks, I feel like everybody can agree that, it's been ultra toxic. People at each other
Mm,
over very petty, simple things, other than they just don't like the way that they, making their points, or they points are idiotic, or this person is idiotic and they're never gonna make a logical point because they idiotic. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
Some people, like, literally got a listening audience on YouTube right now, and they might have some mental issues, and people be sitting there listening to them. I'll be like, wow, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know what to say. You
And a
know?
lot of those people have the biggest audiences.
Yes. And they
You know,
suffering from either narcissism or depression, or oppositional defiant disorder. It's all type of things I can throw, into the pot, and they will all stick because we see these tendencies on a daily basis, you know?
right?
And if people would just ask themselves one question, how is this going to help us?
Mm-hmm.
If you just ask yourself that one basic question, you will see that a lot of this stuff is just entertainment. And I only dance when I hear music, so I'm done
Right.
with that shit.
There you go.
Man, I'm
Uh,
done, man. I
I've been
just
meaning to put that on one of my T-shirts too.
Yeah, man. I'm just done with that shit, man. I mean, like, if somebody got something to say where I'm feeling like they informing me of something that I wasn't aware of prior to, I'm willing to listen to that. But, like, all this commentary talk, I'm good, fam. You know what I'm saying? I'm good. You can have your commentary, tell that to people who want to hear it. That ain't me no more.
Right, right. But you notice that's what gets the most attention, and that's what people tune into. So it shows that there's a lot of issues out there, because you attract to whatever you know you're really dealing with on the inside.
Yeah, no doubt.
Just like they say, how you attract the mate, you essentially attract that which you are.
Mhm.
So you're going to attract to the same type of entertainment, education, if you will, that you really got going on within yourself. So I find it interesting to see what people pay attention to when I put stuff on my channel. Some of it be experimental. I'm not gonna lie. It's no point in doing that. Um, and you know, I won't lie again and say that I'm not surprised
Mhm.
still when the numbers heavily outweigh, man, when it comes to, like, if I'm doing commentary on somebody and just the shenanigans of it all, right? Versus when I'm actually informing you of something. It's like they bypass that. Now I know YouTube suppresses, so we get that part. But at the same time, for the most part, people know what you put out. They know that you have a mixture of this and a mixture of that. So they know that you're not gonna only put out one type of content if they know that you're known for putting out more than just that type of content. So they watch and listen to what they want to listen to. So when you see people show up only for what's gonna entertain them and somehow make them feel better about whatever, or what, I don't know what they tell themselves, but sometimes it's because they can relate to a lot of it because they understand that it's familiar to them, you know,
Mhm.
in some kind of way.
Yeah,
So,
it's almost like we are programmed to look for the car crash, like
hmm
and we just I mean, because a lot of it is just we just self-deprecating. I'm pretty much all day, every day. We either talking about each other, we talking about how we victims of a system. We could talk about all of the problems, but you know, people that be talking about solutions, like the economic workshop here, come and learn how to build up your credit. Man, people not listening for that. You know what I'm saying? They not listening for that, fam. But if you talking about how somebody got some beef, man, then that's when everybody listening. Then I ain't gonna lie,
hmm
you know what I'm saying? I sit there and listen. I ain't gonna be commenting though. You know what I'm saying? If I comment something, it'll be like, damn, G, what's wrong with y'all? You know what I'm saying? That'll be about it. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, I'll sit there and listen for a while and then just flip around, you know? I just, man, it's not entertaining to me anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's
hmm
just, you know,
yeah, and it's kind of the same thing as if you were saying, all right, let's get together at the town hall, this Friday evening at 7 o'clock. We're gonna have drinks and snacks, or you can, opt to bring something, and we're gonna we're going to teach you something that you can use, and we're going to have this speaker here, and we're going to have all these kind of opportunities for us to progress, right? And you have maybe 2 3 people show up and nobody really takes any interest. But if you say, let's do all these same things, right, and we're going to just get party and bullshit, man, you not, the fire marshal gonna have to come and be like, hold on, there's too many people. You can't have this many people here. So
I tell you what though, sis, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just keep working. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And I feel like if I build it, they gonna come. You know,
hmm
and what I'm gonna do, it's gonna benefit them anyway. So it don't matter if they help me or not. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I actually look forward to people telling me that they not working with me. That way I know how hard I
Mhm.
gotta work. You know what I'm saying? That's all.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to keep going. So hey, it's gonna be what it is, and it's not what it's not. So nothing is stopping either way it go.
Right. Right. Cause see, while we
Yeah.
sitting around here talking about black female fuckery every day, and you
Mm,
know how stupid this other dude is, and while we sitting there, man, people still need jobs, fam.
mm-hmm.
Man, people still need a place to live, G. You know, and that's what I be working on. I don't know what other people do for a living, but that's what I do for a living, man. I educate people and I help in the community and I build it up, you know. And I'm willing to listen to people that's actually doing that. You know what I'm saying? But if you just on YouTube talking about what ain't gonna work, and I'm already working, well, nigga, you ain't got
Mm-hmm.
nothing you can really say to me. You know?
Yeah. And I done got to a point where I don't, and I barely did anyway. But once I've made a few attempts, well, probably more than a few, but um, and I see what the results are. I see what it's gonna be. Like you said, some trees you just gotta leave them crooked. I decided that YouTube is just a crooked tree, and I'm just gonna let it be crooked. And hey, let that party be what it is. But in real life, when these computers, laptops, or tablets or whatever get shut down, then business is handled as it should be. But I don't be too concerned with trying to take anybody serious to a point where I'm stressed about you know expecting something real or tangible to come about anything with these people on YouTube. So, it's just an entertainment platform as far as I'm concerned. And I just leave it at that. You know, Somebody asked me a question the other day, said, and I'm paraphrasing, like, what are some suggestions, I think, as far as what could be done for the Black community, something to that effect.
Mhm.
Man, my response was basically, you gotta be kidding me. Like, you know, because I just feel like whatever it is that we need to do, you know, you know what it is, and you just do it. You know, Coming on here thinking that you about to convince somebody to be on a level that they're not, or join something that they really don't, they're not trying to, hear. Nah. But if you have something and you're motivated to drop it, drop it.
Yeah, I'm
It's
gonna
for
drop
something
more content.
they're
Yeah,
gonna catch it. You know what I mean? So hey,
yeah,
every now and again I drop something, and other than that, I just worry about what moves I make in my life. Basically,
yeah.
I don't take YouTube serious like that, or people on social media, or yeah.
Yeah, I was just hoping to build with brothers. That was all. That when I came to YouTube, that's what I was hoping to do. I was hoping to build with brothers. You know,
I think
I
we all were.
but I can see that. It's just basically a place where you go and chop it up. It's like you watching TV and you can talk back to it. You know what I'm saying? In a way.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. We had this exact conversation before. I'm not sure who it was, but that's how I was explaining it. I was like, now we can, like when I be commentating on stuff like what we see on Nature Boy and stuff like that. Like they have what they feel like is some sort of a reality type show, and so the difference is, people can come in the live, they can, give their opinions on what's happening right then and there in real time. And
Mhm.
we can actually get on our platform and give our opinions on, instead of people sitting on the couch saying, girl, don't go in there. It's a monster in there.
Right.
Or, no, you should have did that. You can actually get on your platform and say it. And then somebody else who watched the same show can come in and say, yeah, I seen that too, child. Yeah, so.
Because
And the problem with it is that a lot of this stuff um is actually real life, you know. So, but go ahead. You was gonna say something.
Um, I was just gonna say, in real life, we all growing. You know, I ain't figured it
Mhm.
all out. It ain't like I done tapped into some well that then now gave me like ultimate wisdom in the world. Like that ain't where I'm at or where I'm coming from. At the end of the day, we all growing, you know,
Mhm.
and you know, some of us just gotta try to respect that, and then don't put other people down because they ain't where you at. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like you was always there once. Like, come on, man. Like you was born into some great, you know what I'm saying, think tank or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, we just gotta keep it a buck, and just understand everybody growing, you know? I ain't got it all figured out. You ain't got it all figured out. I listen to your content, you know what I'm saying? I might not comment on everything, but of course
Right.
I'd have rung the bell for you and everything. So like, you know, that's just what it is.
Thank you.
It's just respect.
I sure appreciate that. Yeah, boy, I- especially with the way things are now and the direction things go in, it just only shows me how much either how much more growing I need to do, or how life has a way of showing you how much you really don't have figured out. As soon as you think you got something figured out, life will come and say, hey, well, let me show you this.
Right.
So,
Right.
you
Right.
know it's always um, something new to learn. It's always a mystery. And, like you said about perception is very interesting.
It
It's
have a,
very
have
interesting.
a lot of people all the way sent off, you know.
They what now?
It have a lot of people all the way sent off. You know what I'm saying? Be talking crazy as hell and would justify just about anything and then want you to accept it. I'll be like, man, what are you talking about? So like now, I'ma just leave them crickets, sis. That's what I'm gonna do. Hey, oh yeah, that's how you feel, brother. You absolutely correct, brother. 2 plus 2 is 7. You right, fam. Man, you so right. That's exactly what I'm gonna say, man. God bless you real good.
And I feel you, because that was my thing a long time ago with the debates. It's like, you know, was from someone who's familiar with debating on an academic standpoint, like I can get that part. But then when our people come on here and we just new to us, period. If we want to be honest about it. And we're all trying to figure that part out and navigate our way around it and through it. And, we're trying to reach some levels, and it could all be different levels for different people. Like you said, everybody has different roots. And I like that part that you said, and show the roots, because although we are all trees, I know you remember when everybody was like, oh no, we're all his Hebrew Israelites, so we're all, no, you're Moors, no. I mean, to me that was just the most ridiculous thing. And
Mhm.
I used to try to tell people, and then I just said, okay, whatever. They just that hey, I get it. You think we're all the same, but we are, but we aren't, because like we're not exactly the same. You can't tell me just because you think you come to some revelation that applies to all of us. You might even be wrong about what you're thinking about it for yourself, much less
Mhm.
telling everybody else, no, you need to call yourself this and not call yourself that, and this is what you are. And you know how can that be? We come from different places at the end of the day. And then it's like you got to figure out where you came from, where your ancestors came from. And that's a journey all in itself. And I know you didn't do that in the couple of months that you you know been on YouTube, but a couple of months that you done found out somebody lied to you.
Right.
So you know,
Well,
it's just
I just hope that the messages that I put out, although they are subtle, that they just, find some ground to take root in. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm hoping
yeah.
for.
Yeah, like you said, there's a lot of basic things that we do need to be focused on at the end of the day, and that really matters because there's a lot of children out here that needs our attention. They need our assistance. You know, they need our leadership. They need our guidance. They need our love, and that's important because without that attention and care, we don't really have a future as a people. And while people make big deals about so many other things. I mean, it's a lot of small things going on behind a lot of what we see that people are even unable to speak on, but they're going through it, you know, and it could be somebody on a platform going at it with somebody every single day over just ridiculousness. But at the end of the day, that person is hurting behind something that's not right in their lives, and they really want to say, help me, you know, but they
Right.
can't because that's not a language that we speak to each other. Nobody says, hey, how you doing? Hit you up, in a back chat. How you doing? How's everything going? How's the family? You good? You
Right.
know,
Right. Well,
sincerely.
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's about 4 or 5 people that I chop it up with, like on a regular, on back chats. Everybody else I'm cool with, unless otherwise stated. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else, I figure we cool until you say we not. You know.
Yeah. Kim C. Fox says, while building on the positive, tear down the negative, call out the TV, rescue the babies from the public food system. We are at war.
Man,
Yeah,
I mean, them all facts. You know what I'm saying? Them all facts. But here's the thing, right? It's not what they it's not what they teaching at school. It's what we not teaching at home. It's
right.
it's the sacrifices that we not making, those 8 hours,
Mhm.
them hours after them 8 hours they didn't spent at school. You know?
Mhm.
If your kid come home and tell you what they learned at school today, and it sound anything like misinformation, you got an opportunity to become super parent tonight. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Oh, son, that
Mhm.
ain't what happened. Our people was this. And you got
Mhm.
to be proud of you know what I'm saying? Think about what that's going to do for your son or your daughter mindset as they get older. You know, I ain't telling you to make your shorty a revolutionary like, no, teacher, you lying. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't saying that, but at least let's take that time to properly educate our kids. That's why the point I'm trying to make with the crooked trees. We got to do it when they're young, y'all. When they're
Mhm.
young, I'm talking about, hey, no more baby talk. Gaga, nah, nah. They can understand from out the womb. They've been hearing you talk for the last 9 months. What make you
Facts.
think they don't understand you now? you know? So
Mhm.
knock it off with the baby talk. And I ain't trying to be
Mhm.
spooky or nothing. This is truth. This is the truth, the absolute truth. If you look it up, black kids are more intelligent when they are younger than any other kids. We got exceptional babies. They hold their
Mhm.
heads up faster. They formulate words faster. They start walking faster. They get on the pot faster. Man, and we can't apologize for being great, y'all. Them just our
Right.
roots, man. That's just what
Right.
it is. That's what it is. We just exceptional with that one thing. Our kids adapt to the world faster. They just do. We just need to take advantage of it. Anybody can look it up. That's not groundbreaking what I said. They did studies on it in Africa, in Cambodia, and South America, and in America. They all of them case studied out, cross referenced, all of it. You know what I'm saying? We got exceptional kids. All we have to do is straighten them out before they get crooked. That's it.
Mhm. Yes, I agree. And some of that straightening, Brother Rob, also comes with our examples, our living, breathing examples ourselves, how we are living, how we are carrying ourselves, the moves that we're making, and how we're behaving out here on these streets. Because, when they turn on their social media, I mean, there's a lot of platforms out here, but, they run across their parents and grandparents out here acting a fool. Um, it's quite popular for everybody to be beefing and doing whatever because I guess it's going to get a more like or more view, whatever, or whatever the reason is. But if you're not living your life in front of their eyes at home in a manner that is going to show that you even care about yourself, then they're not going to believe anything that you're saying out of your mouth. They're going to know that you're full of it, and they're not going to take you seriously. And if you're not showing that in your household and how you treat each other, they just,
It's a
it's just
wrap.
not, you can't give them a lecture every now and again. You can't, you know, you will have the parent or the uncle or whatever that will sit there and smoke a cigarette and say, don't you do this, don't you ever do this. But they sit there watching you do it. That's out the window now. We can't afford to have that kind of mindset anymore. We have to show them exactly who and how they are supposed to be. We have to literally show them, not just tell them. We have to show it. You know, um, one of the brothers that I follow on Instagram was saying this, and he was putting it in his post, and he was saying that they watch you and they want to imitate you, or they will learn to imitate you. So you need to have them, go with you and show them the things that you're doing, but what are you showing them? And this is as he was having his young son with him cutting grass. So that point went a long way.
Yeah.
And yeah, the brother that we watched, I don't know if you saw the video I did just the other day about Umar and Dr. Kenjufu.
Mm-hmm. I didn't
You
watch
familiar with that, aren't you? Are you familiar with this brother?
with who again? I'm sorry.
Dr. Kunjufu. Am I saying his name right? Yeah, Kunjufu.
Yeah,
Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu.
yeah. He wrote a book called "The War on Black Boys" or something against black boys. This was
Yeah,
in
the
the late 80s.
conspiracy.
It was in the late 80s, if I'm not mistaken.
The conspiracy to destroy
Yeah,
black boys.
yes, that's the name
And
of
he
the book.
has like 4 volumes of that book. He actually wrote over 65 books. If you haven't seen the show that I did, yesterday, 2 days ago, on the 22nd, um, about him, you should probably check it out. And I showcase some of his books, but he has written over 65 books. A lot of his teachings and his, you know, um, messages that he has put out, you see it verbatim in Dr. Umar. Well, they call him Dr. Umar. I just call him Umar. But he was saying that, as well in the lecture that I played on that book. He was talking about that also. He was saying, don't just take your sons uh, to do childlike activities. Take them with you while you just talking to other men. Take them to the barber shop. Let them go with you to the store and all kind of stuff.
I, you know, I literally seen it up close and personal. So, just quick little story about me, right? My dad, he was a drag car racer, right? He drove
Mhm.
drag cars. Um, and it was all legal beagle. He wasn't doing no street racing, you know. But anyway, he would take me and my brother to the shop with the other guys, you know, and we couldn't even hear what they was talking about. No, stay your ass over there, you know what I'm saying? But literally seeing them struggle to get their cars faster and compete against these white
Mhm.
boys, and they sitting around strategizing how to take weight from the car, what's the best way to mix gas and all that. These dudes never went to school for none of this stuff, so
Mhm.
they
Mhm.
just a bunch of country boys that moved up to Chicago and was sitting around
Mhm.
scheming on some high technology type shit, right? On how to make cars go faster, right? And people don't understand how much science go into making cars go
Mhm.
from A to B like super fast. Like, man, it's
Yes,
so
sir.
much science. Man, I'm
And
maybe
I
maybe
chuckle when you said
that's
that.
gonna
I
be my
chuckle.
next video.
Yeah, because my ex, the one I told you was from Chicago, we have a son that's 15 that he does the same thing. And my son actually has been doing that with him, and he learned how to they built the car from scratch, and my son has built his own little go-kart and his own little remote control car and all that kind of stuff. So they into that stuff. So it must be a Chicago thing.
No,
I
no.
don't know.
This is what it is. See, when you teach a young man that kind of stuff, right? What he gonna learn is
Mhm.
systems and how systems
Mhm.
dictate like how the whole thing. So, like, think about it, right? With a car, right? Say, for instance, you got everything
Mhm.
working, right? But your brake system not working. Oh man, things gonna go
Right.
bad fast. You know what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? Everything else
Right.
perfect, but if that one system not working, so that's the importance of that when you teach a young man that but he gotta be young, you know, because ain't no 25-year-old want to hear that,
Right.
you know,
Or have the patience, right?
right?
Yeah. Learn how to think and problem solve and actually actively get out there and figure it out. They just, dealing with the social media and the gaming systems and, being able to press something and have it just like that. You got to counteract that with some of that, what you're talking about, so
Man,
they can develop those skills and have some patience.
that's
Oh, they
what
ain't going to have patience for nothing.
man. Look, right? If I could just give the sister some advice, the most
Hmm.
important lesson a young man got to learn how to come back from failure.
Mm,
See, coddling is not
mm,
going to help a person come back from failure. More hard work is required. That's the most important lesson that a young man got to learn. How to come back from failure. When people laughing at you, you done fell on your face. This the worst day ever. What do you do
mm-hmm.
next? That's the most important lesson.
Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. Because without that, and there were so many ways, you know, coming up that I could see that as a female child or a male child, that those lessons were being learned, that those type of situations don't typically exist anymore. So, you know, you got to purposely put them out there. Like you got to purposely, you know, actively be involved in everything that's going on and have them in situations that will create a like a something that they feel at, and there you are right there to show them what to do. Because if we just leave it up to however things are now, whatever's going on, then it's just gonna be okay. If this ain't working, and then you know what's typically done of children nowadays when they try something once and it doesn't work, So more active parenting is needed now, and mentoring. I don't want to say than before, but the only reason why I will say that is because it's like we're completely devoid of it, in my opinion.
Hey, super
You know
super
that.
super quick question.
Mhm.
Squirrel is completely off the subject.
Okay.
Hey, but when do y'all be doing the reading? I missed it or something. When y'all be doing y'all doing the
Every,
miseducation of the Negro, right?
yes.
Okay.
Yes, and I'm actually putting them on a what you call it, a playlist.
Okay.
So if you miss it, you can come back and get it. And I only do it for an hour. So if anybody misses it, you don't have to sit too long. But we cover quite a few chapters in that hour. Like the first time we did chapters 1 through 3, and then the second time we did 3 through 9. So I'm doing it every Wednesday. And so after that book, we just gonna pick another book and keep going like that. So
Nah, that's dope. That's right up my line, right? That's right on what
I
I
was
be on.
trying to get you the link, man, so you could. I don't know. Have you? I don't know if you read it before.
What, the miseducation of the Negro?
Uh-huh.
Yes, I've read the book, yes, several times.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is because I have a lot of books that I haven't even gotten a chance to. So I tried to get this book thing going last year, it didn't work out. And so I'm happy. I wish I had done it sooner, to be honest. I love to read. I have over 7,000 books. So I have a lot of books that I haven't gotten a chance to read yet. And that is one of them. And I'm enjoying that book. Oh my goodness. It is so relevant, which is sad.
Yeah. But
That it's
it's
still
it's
relevant.
it's so important that we
It is.
understand how profound he was,
Mm-hmm.
how he was able to look at character traits, and that's why it's relevant because he's talking about character traits, not necessarily the times, but what people are going to be based on what they gonna learn from their parents. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Because you can only do what you see. You know what I'm saying? It's not often that we just gonna go and explore whole new ways of doing things. You learn
Mm-hmm.
from, you learn from what you see and what you hear. That's
That's,
facts. That ain't me just talking. That's facts.
that is a fact. I was just saying this to someone yesterday. This is a fact. Yeah. And what you're saying is right. That's why it is so relevant. Because as I was reading it, I was like, it's if I couldn't, if I hadn't, continuously pointed it out, you wouldn't even believe that this book was from the 18 and 1900s. You would think that dude wrote this book yesterday. you
Mhm.
know,
And I mean, and he
but it.
right off the bat, he comes right at you with some really pointed words. You know what I'm saying? I think this was
Mhm.
the third page where he like hell, if it ain't a back door, niggas gonna make them a back door.
Oh yes,
I was like,
yes,
damn.
yes.
know,
Mm-hmm.
the master teacher, he did a lot of work here in Chicago. There's a library named after him here in Chicago on 95th and Halsted. They renovating it right now. Before the internet, that was my internet. You know what I'm saying? You know, um, the place where he did the most work is 39th, 37th, my fault, in Indiana. the YMCA. This is where he came with the Negro Week and all of that. So, man,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? It's you know, it's a whole backstory to it. You know.
And I was thinking that you were familiar with him because he is from Chicago and he has done so much work.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
I mean, that book is amazing. It's amazing. He has done a lot of research, but it's like a, it's like a blueprint, you know,
hmm
because he's really laying it out. He's really laying it out, and he's pointing out pretty much everything that dictates how we are where we are,
yeah.
and the way that we are, like how we got here to this point.
And it's told from such a matter of fact point of view. That's the other thing that I really enjoy about the book. I mean, you don't have to have a high like IQ or something like, you know, if you're reading like Dr. Ivan Van Sertima. It's like, you know, he talking to everybody at on their level, you know what I'm saying? That's the other
Hmm.
point I love about the book, you know. Everybody should have a copy. You may be the best $20 you ever spend in your life.
Right, that's what I was saying. That is definitely one for the library. Like that's a, you know,
Right.
that's a classic. That is definitely one to have in a household. And I was saying that too about Dr. Kunjufu's books, and I'm about to start collecting them as well. Um, he has his books, from what I've read of them, the description and the breakdown of them are really, really good. And they also are really good for extra education, you know, outside of school and for homeschoolers. And some of his books even have like workbooks in them. So they're designed specifically for, you know,
At,
teaching your students, mainly the boys.
yeah, at this time, you know, and this is what kind of fueled the fire. At this time, they were doing a study and they were trying to find out, are black men born with a propensity to do murder and mayhem and crime and stuff? Like what is
Mm.
wrong with us? They was doing a study on it. You know what I'm saying? And they was trying to justify what was about to come, the mass incarceration. You know, so that's what the
Mm.
study was all about. So that's what kind of gave him the fuel to the fire. If you look at
Mm.
his work from that point of view, you know what I'm saying? Like that's why he did it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
I want to read all of his books because having known about him, knowing about him, learning about him, and the work that he's done and the effort that he's put out there to help educate, you know, people in general, but you know, parents, you know, that's deep.
Mhm.
You know, that's really deep for him to stand up and take that interest and put that work in to try to help basically save the black males. You know, because hearing what you just said, which is crazy, you know, that's the first thing I'm thinking in my mind. That's crazy because how can they have this mindset when considering all of the things that they have done to us?
Right,
Like, so what do you mean? Why would why would the black male, and I'm not saying that it's true anything that they would be trying to say, but why would you think the black male would be any kind of way?
right. Like
But
they was
guys just
trying to find out
happy and whistling down
was
the
it
street all day.
was it genetic? Is it, you know, they was trying to find out, is it in our DNA to be criminals? You know? And so this is what gives rise to intellects like Dr. Amos Wilson, and then
Hmm.
Dr. Tony Martin. These guys, this is when these guys come to prominence. Ian Cobra starts the National Coalition of Blacks for Reparations. Um,
Hmm.
in '87. That's when that started. And then look at the music from '87. You know, all type of stuff is happening all over the country. You know what I'm saying? Harold Washington is mayor of Chicago. Marion Barry is about to become mayor of DC. You know what I'm saying? The crack epidemic, it has started, right? But niggas see the benefits. They don't see the fallout yet. So people rich
Right.
overnight. You know what I'm saying? The zombies ain't came yet. You see? So man, all of these things are happening all at the same time. And then
Mm.
if you look at it, his work is like the roads throughout the concrete, you know what I'm saying? And to shed a light on what everybody should have been focused on from the beginning. This is setup. And you know,
Absolutely.
yeah, 5 years later, mass incarceration, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm. And that's the only way. That's the best way to describe it. That it's a setup. Of course it is. Like, how could you even sit up here and try to pose such a question? What's wrong with the black man? What do you mean? Look at all of these things that you're doing and have done and constantly do every day, all day, to cause destruction to the black man. Like, what do you mean? And you gonna sit here talking about, well, what's wrong with him? Why is he doing this? Why is he doing that? What do you mean? He's trying to survive and stay sane. Like, what are you talking about? Are you kidding me right now? That kind of reminds me of that guy. I don't even know his name. I don't even care. But when he said, basically, get over it. There was another lady who said something much worse, and I was gonna do a story on that, but I said I'm not even gonna do it because Mercury's in retrograde, and I'm not trying to get in my feelings. But yeah, she was saying like, y'all lost, we won, get over it. But he was saying, um, like, why should we consider giving you reparations for something that happened over 150 years ago? And then the dumb stuff like, we gave you a black president. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, they really, he said
And
that out
so,
loud.
yeah, I mean, this is just at a time where you know, they don't have any filters anymore. It's just I'm telling you, when people look back at this period in time, they gonna say this was the age of political correctness. You know,
Mhm.
um, we out of political correctness, we really didn't address issues straightforward. It was a political practice of the Republican Party, Ronald Reagan Republicans, and that shit been working for the last 50 years. We just gotta admit it. You know what I'm saying? That
Mhm.
political correctness has subdued so many black folks that it has retarded our ability to like be unified and actually work on some shit and get it done. Even though
Mhm.
we know we need to do it.
Need to, like, I mean, desperately. I mean, to sit here and watch them try to put a muzzle on all of us in so many ways, right? Not try to, because they are, right? They're censoring us at every turn, and they're getting more bold at the lip. It's like, are you kidding me?
What's in your heart come out your mouth. It always been there.
Hmm.
What's in your heart come out your mouth. It's always been there. See, people just want to overlook it. Sister Fox in the chat said it. We at war. Look, sis, we at war and we don't even know who the enemy is. We don't know who we supposed to be shooting at. You know, some people don't even think we at war. You know,
Yeah, I've heard people say,
this shit
I've
crazy.
heard people say that.
Yeah, this shit crazy. You know, like I guess y'all ain't never heard of Tamir Rice. I don't know. You know. The deal, y'all ain't seeing Mr. Castile. He got shot up in that car. Y'all ain't see that.
But you know what though, Brother Rob, I'm gonna say this. a lot of my people, and this is just my perception, and it's also based on some of my personal experiences, right? A lot of our people are really just kind of waking up, if you will, and realizing some of the things that has been done to us and realizing some of the things that are being done to us and not necessarily reacting in a proper way. And they're not trying to learn more, not trying to do any research into history, into the full story, into significant people that we had in the past who has put in a lot of groundwork for us and let out a lot of blueprints for us. And I think that's important. I think that's important. Instead of just going with whatever's posted on social media, whatever's posted in the media, and whatever the next person is or isn't saying on their platforms, people also need to be researching and studying too, because that's training and preparation.
Yeah,
And a lot of these people put in a lot of work and research and, put forth all these studies and these books and stuff. And they did it for a reason. Like they did it for us so that we could be armed with this knowledge and wisdom to apply it.
yeah.
And
I
it's stuff that we need to have.
yeah. What you talking about is something that I had touched on in a video where I was talking about um the author of The Destruction of the Black Civilization, Dr. Chancellor
Mm,
Williams. That man spent 17 years putting that book together. 17 years.
please talk about that. I remember your video on that, please, because I was blown away.
The man, the man started in northern Africa, worked his way around to the Ivory Coast, went and studied in the Congo for a couple of years. Came out of the Congo, went west. I think he went into Chad, studied with the griots in Chad. Basically, the man circled around the entire continent for years. You know, he would come back home in between time, but did 17 years of research to put that book together.
Hmm.
And then people talking about no tep. Get y'all hotep ass out of here. Man, hey, look, bruh. That's so what you saying is just so disrespectful to the people who even gave you the idea to be able to disrespect it. You wouldn't even have the
Hmm.
idea to disrespect hotep if it wasn't for one of our master teachers. You silly Negro.
Right.
But like, Black Power is dead and all of it. I ain't pro black and all that. Look, man, we gotta get away from all of these artificial titles and everything. That's not important. What is important is that we identify with each other as a group and move forward. You
Right.
know? Man, it's just hard dealing with some of the talking points and the ignorance and the veracity that they put behind the ignorance. That's the
Hmm.
killer to me.
Yeah. I left the separatism type of mindset or talking points alone a while ago because it can catch you um, if you're on a journey of trying to figure out some things about yourself, who you are, where you belong, sort of a speak. And you'll have people who will try to tell you that you should be placed in a category. You should call yourselves this. You shouldn't associate with those who use these words, who proclaim this and that and the third. And it's just separatism within. And we got too much of that going on.
Mm.
If we're not talking about separating from, parts of the system that don't mean us no good, then we ain't talking about nothing. Because sitting around here talking about separating from each other or not dealing with another brother or sister because what, their roots are different, like that's ridiculous.
We find ways to separate ourselves. You know, that's all. We just need a ideology that can give us a justification to separate from them. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
That's what they have in their mind, not understanding that was part of the plan. You see, we the only
Hmm.
ones that's separated by them artificial titles like that. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Cause Polish people, hey, if you got Polish parents, you Polish. There is
Hmm.
no debate about that. If you got you Russian. If you got Russian parents, there's no debate about that. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna catch them in Germantown. You know what I'm saying, at the bar every weekend. No, that's not where they gonna be in Ukraine Village. That's where they gonna be at. You see the names
Hmm.
I'm using? See what I'm saying? We got a Greek town in Chicago, right? We got Germantown. We got Ukraine Village, right? Well,
Hmm.
where our part of the city at?
Hmm.
We live on the west side. We live on the south side. But what part is it that where we say, man, this is ours? Right?
Hmm.
We got Bronzeville. That's on the low end. Ironically enough, that is where we had our graduation on 47th and King Drive. So they trying to and I mean it's a lot of black businesses around there. If I did a video around there, if you like came into the city and stuff, like man, we'll kick it. I'll show it to you. It's nice. You know what I'm saying? You can eat good. They got good soul food. She could definitely do your locks up. They got Lock Nation on 47. Oh man, sis, they'll have you dripping, fam. You know what I'm saying? But like that's another thing we trying to do. Like so that they got the Magnificent Mile downtown Chicago. I just don't even be talking about everything that I be doing. Cause I like if
Hmm.
I did, niggas wouldn't believe me. No man, no you ain't. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But like what we trying to do, like they got the Magnificent Mile downtown Chicago, right?
Hmm.
We trying to turn 79th into the Black Mile. You know what I'm saying? Where all the business up and down 79th Street is, operated and owned and employ black people. You know what I'm saying?
That's
So
what's up.
yeah, little initiatives and stuff like that.
It's far too difficult for us as a people to rise. It's far too difficult for us to accomplish things, and these are due to stumbling blocks that we place upon each other. We know what they do, but I'm talking about because of the lack of cooperation within ourselves, within each other. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. It makes no sense whatsoever, you know? And then to hear that same guy again, I don't know his name, but he said also, there are other people who came into this country and were, mistreated in some way or another. Then the other female, she was saying, oh, and we know that black soldiers and white soldiers stole land from the natives. So what, we gonna have to pay them next? I mean, you got them talking. They shouldn't even be able to get away with saying no dumb stuff like that. Not because somebody gonna jump them and beat them and knock them upside the head or anything like that. Because it's just it should be easily shut down. Easily shut down.
I'm
And
gonna
and
tell you that this is the issue. Um, I can't even have a proper dialogue or debate or even an argument, right?
mhm,
With these people because they don't know history. You know, instead of using your bias confirmation to do research, right? Literally, what you got to
Mhm.
do is go and try to disprove your point. That's what you got to do. You know, because that's what's
Mhm.
going to come up in the debate. I just gave people a big old piece of the pie, right? Really, really good debaters. Like if you listen to Brother Jabari or Brother Polite, I guarantee you they went to go try to disprove their own point so that they can find out
Mhm.
everything that you're gonna say. You see what I'm saying? So anyway,
Exactly.
that's that's the key to doing research. You have to go find some things that shoots your point down and ride it to the end to see if it's true or not. If it's true or
There
not,
you go.
you know what not to believe. You know, but
There you go.
go ahead, sis.
Well, I was going to say that, if anyone if any of them are familiar with academically debating, then they would know these things. I mean, what they could just watch the movie The Great Debaters. I mean, it basically shows you what debating is like, you know, just to get an idea, because this stuff that they're doing is just emotional arguing at the end of the day. But that's another point for researching the people who came before us, the ancestors, whether you want to claim them as your ancestors or not, or however, you know, people want to argue about the labels or what have you. But the great people before us who took their time, Francis, Welsing, all of them, and put in this research, like the brother you just mentioned, spent all those years. These people dedicated their lives to doing all these years of research and research. When you come to understand what research really means, then you will respect it. And you will respect those who have really done it and who have left it behind for you to use. And when you get to reading this stuff, paying attention, overstanding, understanding things, then you will be more enlightened.
It's
It
just
changes
hard for
everything.
it's hard for people to accept the fact that they were wrong, and they just got emotionally involved with a talking point, you know, instead of doing the research. It's hard for
It's
people to accept because I mean, number one, it's gonna be embarrassing, and then number two, um, the people that are giving out the points, or trying to so-called correct people, they just don't do it with any poise or any empathy.
yeah.
It's more along the lines of aha, I gotcha. You know what I'm saying? How can you destroy people with information? Like damn, like how do you do that?
And that's why I disagree that it should be embarrassing to be wrong. It you should there should be nothing wrong with being wrong, because there's an opportunity to gain something. You're gaining knowledge.
In truth,
And no
so
one should be made to feel bad because they were wrong. If anything, it's, how you said how they came at them when they thought they were right, that will make that difference. But other than that, it's like we make it wrong to be wrong about something.
mm,
Like it's a big deal. Like everybody has to be right. How can we be so right about everything when we were done so wrong about everything?
right. Yeah, it's like, it's like, man, somebody that went and they didn't ask you to make a meal, make it the best meal you ever cooked in your life, but you didn't pick the groceries. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't know what you know what I'm saying? You don't know what's about to happen. You don't even know what's in the bag. You just gonna turn the
They
eyes,
have shows like that too. Watching them.
huh?
They have shows like that too. I forgot the name of them, but I'll be watching them.
Oh man, them my favorite shows in the whole world, right there. 'Cause look, you
They
can't.
do. They'll give us all the same four ingredients, and they'll say, you know, make us something good, or make a sweet dish, or make a, yeah.
Yeah, it's called Chopped.
What
That's
is
what it's
this?
called. The name of the
Yeah,
show is
yeah.
called. But the reason why I like the show so much is you can't fake it. If you don't know how to cook, that's gonna show like right now. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
if I watch TV, I watch that, and then I watched the when they making the stuff out of steel. What is it called on the
Oh,
History
yeah.
Channel? Uh, but anyway, that's another show I watch. But they basically are a bunch of ironsmiths, you know what I'm saying? And they
Mhm.
compete on who make the best swords, you know what I'm saying? And they be making swords from history. You can't fake it. If you don't know how
I
to wield
love shows.
steel, you can't. You're gonna lose.
Mhm.
You know.
I love shows like that. The Create channel. Tanked is another one. It's not necessarily a competition, but it's still kind of like how you were saying about building the cars. They have a customer and they want like this crazy fish tank, somewhere in their building or their house. And it's something that, you wouldn't even think could even happen. And they don't even really know exactly what it is that, could be created, but they just know I want something really cool right here. And I was kind of thinking a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And to us, it's like, what? And those people take their creative minds and they build these elaborate tanks that are just out of this world,
Yeah, I
you
done watched
know?
the show a couple of times. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. I love shows like that.
I like it to where you can't fake it. You know what I'm saying? You're not entertaining me. You just basically showing off your talent, you know?
Yeah.
Showing off your talent. That's basically what you're doing.
How you thinking and problem solving and figuring it out. And your brain is always moving, always working, and you're creative. You know, that's exciting to me. You know, that's exciting. Anybody can read a script
Right.
and just sit there and, you know, replay a scenario. But, you know, like I said, the Create channel, that's like I could sit there and watch that all 24 hours a day
Mhm.
if I do turn on the TV. That's one of my favorite channels. You get all kinds of shows come on. It's just people creating stuff.
Yeah. My
So,
two favorite people on there is no, my two favorite shows is Chop and Beating Bobby Flay. So it's this white boy. He a exceptional cook, right? And so what it is
mhm,
first, he'll basically invite you on the show, and then have some judges judge on who make the best dish, right? But it's
mhm,
whatever dish you make the best. You know what I'm saying? He gonna compete against you making your best dish. Man, this white boy is cold, man. The white boy cold. He can cook. Nah, um,
wow. So the show you were talking about is Blades of Steel.
nah, not Blaze of Steel. It come on the History Channel, and
Okay. Somebody in the chat was asking.
damn, what is the name of the damn show? Uh, but basically,
I didn't know that show was out. I'm gonna have to look it up because I love swords.
yeah,
Man, I
they
love
they make they
swords.
make different swords from history. Um, but like the first couple of rounds, basically you got to just take some steel, heat it up, iron it out, you know what I'm saying, hammer it out, make it into a knife or whatever, and then they test it on different shit. And then if you make it through that, then they let you go home and make a sword, and it's usually something that from history, like a Roman sword or a Japanese sword or an African sword or something like that. The shit dope,
Okay.
bro. The shit dope. I can't think of the name of the show. Damn.
I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna have to start watching that. Now you're gonna have me hooked on something else. Yeah, I gotta check. I got it. Yeah, my first husband used to collect swords. He had a lot of swords.
Oh wow.
I said I was gonna get my own collection, but I never did. Cause
Man,
them swords with him.
because your ex
Say
from
what?
Chicago, man, I know you used to kick it here, man.
Well, I'm talking about my first husband.
Right, right.
He
I
was the
know
one that
you.
was in the sword.
All right, but you ain't kicking it here in the summer, man. Chicago
You know
summers
what?
is
I never been in the summer. That's what everybody's like. Oh, you need to come back in the summer. You need to come. I don't like Chicago.
what?
I'm gonna tell. Yeah, I know. I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but listen, I'm gonna tell you why.
Hmm.
Because I never. First of all, I never been in the summer, and I'm a tropical person all day, and
All right,
so the wind, the cold, I'm not with it, at all. So every time I go, it's cold. And I've been a lot of times, but it's always cold, and I can't deal with cold weather. So, and the pay to park everywhere, I'm like, get out of here. So I never really got a chance to like enjoy it. But I even did a video about Chicago with my son. Well, him and his father was in it. I kind of, I forgot what you call it, but like pixelated the pictures out a little bit. But I just used some pictures from one of their trips or whatever. Cause my son, man, he stay in Chicago. Shoot. He told me he wanted to move to Chicago when he grew up, like to go to college there and everything. I was like, hold on, slow down, slick. He loves it there. Like he loves it there, and people always talking about, oh, Chicago is deadly and Chicago is dangerous, and so I'm like, I ain't never seen none of that. They
man.
don't never see none of that when they go, you know.
And I mean,
So I guess
you gotta know. You gotta know. So I'm sure that he made sure that y'all wouldn't even be around nothing like that. You know what I'm saying?
no.
Because everybody know, like when people into it, everybody know don't go around there. You know what I'm saying? That's all, man.
No.
So if you ever come back, you know what I'm saying, you gotta come in the summer, man. And I guarantee you, we
That's
gonna
what
kick it.
everybody says.
We gonna kick
I
it.
probably will. I probably will take a trip with my boy in the summer one time because I'm telling you, he loves Chicago.
Yeah, man.
He love him.
Be all good, G. Just let me know.
Yeah,
But look, right, save the
I
date if you can. You know what I'm saying? It's Labor Day weekend, right? It's called the
uh-huh.
African Fest here in Chicago, man. Good time,
Oh, okay.
telling you, man. And the act's supposed to be really good this year. I don't remember. I'm a try to promote it as hard as hell so I can get as many people as I can to come to Chicago for the African Fest.
Okay. That's what's
Yeah.
up. And Kanye was the first one that had me thinking that "Summertime in the Shy" is really cool because that song, throw your hands up in the sky,
Hell
uh,
yeah.
like summertime shy.
Ain't nothing like it, man. It ain't nothing like it, man. Straight up, because it's something to do every day. Like you could
Yeah.
literally lose your job in the summertime.
I mean, but it's like that here though. I mean, it's that you can't if you say you bored in Atlanta, something is wrong with you.
Uh,
Like it's always something to do. Like you got to be a homebody like me to not be in the middle of something all the time. Like people was just talking about some freak or whatever. I was like, man, they still do that nowadays. Like out of here. I ain't going no doggo freak. What you mean?
Man,
Shoot.
that's crazy you said that, man. I had brung up and it's like, people around our age, right? I'm like, man, you ain't
Mhm.
go to Freaknik 96? They was like, what? I'm like, what? What your lame, man? Like, how you ain't never heard of Freaknik, G? Like, what is you talking about?
I was never that kind of girl.
Uh,
I ain't even gonna front like I was.
oh man.
I heard a lot about. though. I mean, I had cousins that used to go faithfully,
Man,
you know.
look, man.
I
Hey, those
like,
were
hey, what?
some great times, man. It was a great time to be a black man around then, fam.
I bet. I've heard some things.
That's when I
I
was
heard some things,
young. That's
but
when I was young.
everybody was, right?
Right, right.
But what I would also hear a lot of is that, they always would try to stop it because I think they would have it like here in Atlanta, and then it was what? It was another city that did it too, right?
Yeah, I can't.
Unfortunately,
They tried to move
was
it to
it
St. Louis.
Charlotte
Yeah, they tried to
or
move it to St. Louis. They tried to move it to Charlotte. They tried to move it
mm,
to Virginia Beach. It just wasn't gonna work. You know what I'm saying?
and they just kept shutting it down.
Right.
And I just, although I did hear a lot of stories, but it just seemed like it was just mainly just on a sexual tip.
Oh
And I
no,
just feel like,
we party all day and night, man. All day, all night, straight up.
yeah, but I mean, like, I'm talking about like nobody's getting murdered or shot up or mass murdered and stuff like that.
Oh no,
Like,
it wasn't nothing like that.
right,
I'm trying to think that it was a couple people that went to jail, for like, indecent, you know, uh,
right,
exposure and, loitering, stealing. Of course, when people get drunk, you know, they might walk
right
out of the
type
club
stuff.
without paying for their drinks. They might, what I'm saying, people get drunk and there's so many people, you think you're gonna get away with some shit. You know what I'm saying? That's normal,
Right,
you know. But nah, wasn't nobody gonna get shot. Well, I shouldn't say wasn't gonna get shot. Didn't nobody get shot? What with the guys I was kicking it with, and we had a good time.
right.
Like
That's
man,
why I say I feel like they didn't want to see that many darkies having fun.
mhm,
It was like, y'all stop it, you darkies.
yeah,
You're enjoying yourself too much.
man, you know what man? This is the other part, man. Them football games in the South, man. College football games in the South. Oh my God, I used to have so much fun down there, Joe. Man,
See, everybody was into those. I was never into those either. I just wasn't into none of that stuff.
man. What game did I went to? I think it was Southern and Grambling, I think. Man, that game
Hmm.
was so live, Joe. Oh my God. Man, we had so much fun, man. I kicked it with the Qs and the Alphas. We was just kicking it, man. Man, I think that was it. Southern and Grambling. I don't know. But then my cousin, she went to Jackson State, right? And so I had a
Hmm.
reason to come down south, man. And man, Joe, we used to kick it, man. I don't know about everybody else. I had a blast in my 20s.
That's what's up. It's good to have those kind of memories.
Well, sis,
It's good.
yeah, it didn't get late on us, man.
Yeah, it sure did. I'm sitting out here. See, I could do this. Let me tell you how I could do this all night. Cause I'm always doing something. I done made a pair of earrings. Now I'm sitting over here starting on another set. So, we talking and I'm over here just creating a way. So I don't even know
What's
what time.
your son? What's your son?
Libra.
You're a Libra. Oh,
Hmm.
okay.
So if you hadn't said nothing, I'll just be like, yep,
Mm.
okay, and just go on and on. Yep.
All right.
But I enjoyed you coming over here. Come back anytime.
No doubt. And that was love on appreciating the video that much to where you want to rebroadcast it, man.
Absolutely. Keep putting out good stuff like that.
I certainly would try.
It's needed, it's needed. And hopefully, um, more people will be gracing your platform, looking for some of that good stuff you got over there.
Uh, well, I
Some of
appreciate
that old school type flair, you
that.
know.
I appreciate that. And I'm gonna try to keep it coming.
That's what's up. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for coming out. Everybody who was in the chat, I probably missed some people, but Quentin, thank you for coming through. DeWanda, Terrell, Mama Rika, Crystal. I see some people that I'm not even familiar with. Camp Kamisi Fox, thank you for coming through. So I don't know, Brother Rob, you probably brought through Deke. Hey, Deke, Monique, Lady Pats, and Lady Legs always sliding in at the end. I don't know how you be like she's sliding in the home base. She do that all the time. I don't know how she do it, unless she was just listening the whole time. But yeah, you might have brought some of these people over, just probably from the title and the picture. So hey,
Well,
and
all
it's
right.
funny
Well,
because my logo, I used the tree of life, and even some of the jewelry that I'm making right now, I got a whole bunch of trees. So I love trees. So that story really was deep on so many levels. On
all
so
right.
many levels.
Well, I
To be
humble.
able to use a story like that to tell, use something that is a part of nature, something that people can relate to, but also learn more about. Because even I learned some things. I didn't know nothing about no white tree. Okay. The basket tree. That was my first time seeing a basket tree.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I love trees. I'm a ghetto nerd, so I be looking that stuff up. You know what I'm
That's what's up.
saying?
And like you said, the weeping willow. Oh man, I'm gonna tell you, when I get old, that's what I want to see in the back of my yard. It's a weeping willow. I
Man,
love that tree to death.
you got to plant it right now, then.
Yeah, I know, right? That's an amazing tree. But you could buy one. So I'll come hip to that too. I know how to buy a tree too. That's a little older and put it out there. So no frets. But I want a huge one. Like they are so amazing. But
Yeah,
trees are amazing. They're awesome. There's a lot of knowledge and wisdom in trees. And like you said, you can look at a tree and judge, how it looks and or admire it and everything. But we do not stop to think about everything that it's went through. There was a brother on another channel, and he was talking about how he had his dogs tied to his trees in his yard. And I didn't like the story because of the fact that he had the dogs tied to the tree part of it, but he had a chain and they were pit bulls, and he was showing, and the tree where they was tied, where the dog chain was tied around the tree trunk at,
hmm
it was higher than his head. Okay, so that goes to show how much the tree has grown over the years,
Damn,
right?
damn.
And you could see the deep indent in the tree, and he was showing it, and he was saying that the dog was just yanking, 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 yank on a tree. Because I remember your story, you were saying you never know if a little kid was, almost broke the tree or whatever. And so
Right.
he was saying the dogs would just yank. And so just imagine, because when we was little, we had dogs. We used to tie the dog to the clothesline to the tree or whatever. We didn't really know much about
Right.
take care
Uh,
of no dog, like really appreciate, love, and take care of dog, right? We did it the
right.
hood way. So
Right.
especially when I had dogs, my mom didn't let us bring the dog in the house. We had to tie the tree up all night. So I mean, tie the dog up all night. So I understand that, but as we get older, we're supposed to know that. But anywho, and it was a deep indent in the tree. And like I said, the tree had grown so much. So that shows you how long that's been and how much the tree has grown. But he also told the story that from the dog yanking and yanking because the dog wanted to be free, it split the tree in half. And it was a big tree. I think it was an oak tree, I'm not sure.
Mm.
But when it split, he said that the other part of the tree that split was just as tall as the part that remained standing, kind of like that palm tree that I showed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was very tall like that. And he said that half that split, not the half where the dog was chained, but the split part fell over into his neighbor's yard and fell on his car and everything. So, and you can see where the tree is split in half. So that was
Okay.
an interesting story. It just took me a whole lot of places, you know.
That's crazy. Right, no doubt. Well, man, I might just keep it going. You know what I'm saying? It's some other stuff that I can say about cricket trees. You know what I'm saying? I might just keep it going for a couple of weeks.
Hey, that's
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
That's good.
Uh,
Okay, Lady May says it's 5 a.m. in the UK. It's midnight here, so we're into Tuesday now, and I know a lot of people gotta go to work and whatnot. So, we definitely appreciate you coming through. Please type again in the chat for those who may have missed you, and I clip that video. I'm actually gonna watch it later on, but I pasted it in the chat. The the one that you were talking about. What was the name of it again?
um, be like a mountain climber. Was that what you talking?
Right. Yeah. hmm Yeah. I'm gonna go check that one out. So y'all go and subscribe to Brother Rob. Do you have the chat open? I think you're still in the chat. If you scroll, yep.
Yeah, I just typed something in there.
And shout out to Terrell too. I miss Terrell shouting everybody out. So thank y'all for coming through. Y'all like this video, share the video so other people can see it as well. And thank you so much for coming through, Brother Rob. Everybody have a good evening. You got any final thoughts?
No, just thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming. Well, good night, everyone.